Alright. There's an awkward silence. We're looking at B still. Let's see. It's not your fault. I just get so frustrated whenever there's a glimmer of hope. It's snuffed out before any progress was made. Although I don't understand, I don't want to interrupt her. I've been patient for so long. I'm beginning to forget. Forget what? Time is so... It's so... We mustn't waste it. She looks so small and lost. Look, B, I'm really sorry if I did or said something to get us off on the wrong foot. I think it would be a real shame for us to not get along. We could be good allies. Important. Huh? The word I lost. Time is important. Yes, it is. See, we can agree. Maybe you and I could sit down together and talk about that a little more. Maybe we could. B leaps off the examination table, saunters towards the door. I'll let you know. Turn tail. She's gone before I can reply. All right. Alright, so it looks like every time I hit my mic cord, it cuts out for a second. That's excellent. I wouldn't want that to happen. Take a nappy. Great. Our energies are restored as if it's magic. Magic. Alright. Research. Do we have any recons? I thought there was one recon that opened, right? No, there must have been a research that opened up. Alright, let's try a romance. Start that cat romance with Kibbles. Kibbles is the last one. We haven't unlocked Ravenpaw. Interesting. Kibbles. This seems like a better Kibble's voice. I'm out in the forest, looking for some shade and a place where I won't be disturbed. I need to be relaxed when I finally read the precious contents of the envelope I'm carrying. It feels like I've waited an age for this moment. Eventually, I find a clearing with a moss-covered tree stump that looks comfortable enough. I have a quick check around to satisfy myself that I'm alone before I take a seat and slowly unpeel the flap of the brown wrapper and pull out my issue of Kanashi Boy. It's such a treat. I'm starting to get into it when I hear a rustling sound come from the nearby bushes. It's not the sort of sound the wind makes when it ruffles the leaves. It's more deliberate than that. I look over towards the bush and the noise stops abruptly. Almost as soon as I resume reading, it starts again. I try to ignore it and continue with my comic, but it's very intrusive. I feel I'm being watched. Who's there? The rustling gets louder. Hello? I inch my way towards the source of the sound, nervously holding my breath. I reach out my arm to pull aside the branches when something bursts out of the bush and knocks me sideways. Kibbles, what on earth were you doing? Were you spying on me? He picks himself up from the ground, desperately trying to style it out. Oh, you're here? I hadn't noticed. I was just looking for something. In a bush? Yeah, I left my... Kibbles looks around frantically for something. He locks eyes on an unremarkable-looking flat pebble and picks it up triumphantly. My pebble. I left my pebble in this bush. Found it now. Good. I'd hate to think what would happen if you lost that. Yeah. Anyway, what are you doing? Reading? I hold up the comic book, emphasizing the obvious. Yeah, thought so. You're very observant, Kibbles. So, is that Kanashi Boy? What? I'm taken aback. Yes, actually it is. Do you know it? And more to the point, how do you know it? Yeah, looks like issue 8. That's right. Now I'm impressed as well as amazed. Kibbles, how on earth do you know? Questions are flooding in my brain, but I need to play this cool. I don't want him shutting me out. That's an old issue. It looks like he has no intention of answering my question, so I try a different tack. I'm a little behind, so I brought a couple of back issues with me to bring me up to date. So, which version are you reading? Version? I'm not sure. It's probably the inferior American translation. You really have to get the original Japanese or the European versions to get all the nuance. Oh? It's impossible to truly understand the depth of Fumiyoshi and Hara's relationship in the version you've got. You're a proper fan, then. Could say that, I guess. I'd love to pick your brains sometime. What do you want to know? Does the original version explain how they are able to enter the third chamber together when Chisato gets turned into a hog? Oh yeah, that's because she tried to pass through the gate without Isaya's approval. Oh right, that would make sense. That bit was cut for some reason. The American version they're selling these days is plebeian trash. Well, I like it. Any serious Kanashi boy fan would track down the European translation. I'm not sure, but I don't think I'd be able to get those delivered here. I guess I'll have to make do with the trash version. I'd rather read something else than read that inferior rag. Fair enough, but I'm still enjoying this. I start to go back to reading my trash, but Kibbles suddenly springs. Oh, I skipped it. Hey Kibbles, bring that back! But he's gone. I wait for a while, not quite believing what he just did. After a few minutes, I lose hope he'll return and start to pack away my things to head back to camp. Just as I start walking away, Kibbles comes crashing back through the bush. Oh, there you are. What was all that about? I got you something. That's when I notice he's holding a copy of Kanashi Boy issue 8, but it's not my copy. This one is in a pristine plastic cover. It looks new. Here, this is my copy. The European translation? Original Japanese, actually. Wow, but how do you understand it? Don't tell me you speak Japanese. Some. Look, I've made my own translation. There are pieces of paper tucked in between the pages with scrawled writing on them. How did you manage that? One of the ones before you. She helped me translate it. One of the ones before me? What does that mean? A previous assistant? Want to read this or not? I'm far more interested in what he's just said. You said helps. Kibbles is looking at the cover of Kanashi Boy, but I sense he's pretending to be preoccupied. He's clearly said more than he intended to, and now he's distancing himself from it. That would suggest they're still here. Where does the circle end? Huh? I'm annoyed that he's obviously trying to change the subject. It's a simple question, human. I'm worried that if I push him too far, he'll disappear into the bushes, so I decide to play along, for now. Where does the circle end? He's watching me intently, and I get the feeling this is some kind of test. The circle ends where it began, probably? Kibbs looks delighted. Oh, cool. You've read it. Read what? Sakaru. I'm sorry, I don't know that one. But you gave the right answer. I have no idea what we're talking about now. Sakaru by Heishi Ketsueki. You haven't read it? Afraid not. Is it good? Only the best in its genre. Which is? Guro, naturally. And Guro means gore, of course. Of course. I wasn't aware that gore was a whole genre. I realize that I'm a bit out of my depth here. I can lend it to you. I have a copy here. Kibbles looks like he's about to dive back into the bushes. Whoa, hang on a minute. That sounds really interesting, but I'm in the middle of Kanashi Boy. So, ditch that and start reading this. You won't regret it. Alright. Well, I guess we're gonna read it, right? Because, like... Alright, so let's think about this for a second. If we stick to Kanashi Boy, then we are neglecting his request, right? But it's also a copy that he gave us of Kanashi Boy. But now he's saying that Sakaru is the only one. And he's telling us to forget Kanashi Boy. Alright, Sakaru. Let's go. Alright. Oh, interesting. So he went off into the bushes, came back with the book. We said, "Are you going to show us?" He said, "I can't otherwise." And we said, "I have to kill you." He goes, "Whoa, slow down, JJ. It's a bit too soon to be finishing each other's sentences." JJ? Jesse James. McMurphy told me all about him. Fastest draw in the Wild West. And suddenly he's leaping around with pretend paw guns, pew-pewing, until he's been shot and acts out an elaborate stagger-fall death scenario. Then he's back up on his feet in a heartbeat, pointing at the comic he's placed in my hands. "Yeah, it's universally agreed it's the grossest manga out there." Kibbles grins as though that's a positive thing. I look at the glossy black cover and feel my interest peak. This doesn't look like the sort of thing I'd usually pick up in the comic shop, but I'm certainly intrigued. "Great. You're gonna love the bit where Kira's mom stabs out her own eyes because..." Kibbles! Spoilers! "Oh, who cares about spoilers? It feels totally different when you see it with the artwork." "I don't want you to tell me any part of the story, Kibbles. It doesn't matter if it feels different." "Okay, but just remember one thing." "Kibbles, if this is a spoiler, I'll be very upset." "The circle ends back where it began." "Kibbles!" I can't tell if that was an actual spoiler, but I feel indignant. He holds up his paws up defensively. "What? You said it yourself." "That was a lucky guess. What does it mean, anyway?" "It's the secret password for Sakura fans to help identify each other. The mangaka made it up himself." "Like the Mason's secret handshake?" "Yeah, probably." "You don't know what the Masons are, do you, Kibbles?" "It's like a boy band or something." "Close enough." "Should we make our own secret handshake? You know, in case someone tries to infiltrate our manga club?" "Good idea, Kibs. We don't want anyone getting their mitts on our intelligence." "Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So if you hold out your hand in fist formation, and I do this..." Kibbles has splayed his claws out as if he's going to scratch me, but then pushes his metacarpal pad onto my knuckles. It feels really strange. "That's great, Kibs. Really unique." "Yeah, so, anyway, I've got a lot of stuff to be getting on with. Important business stuff. I'll have to catch you later, human." I feel taken aback by his sudden change in mood. Damn it. "Okay, Kibbles, I'll get on with this manga then and we can discuss it soon." "Yeah, sure. See ya." When I hear, "Fill your hands, you son of a gun," I look up to see that Kibbles has crept around far side of the trees to ambush me. I spring into action, falling into my knees behind my tree stump. "You wouldn't shoot an unarmed cowboy, would you, you yeller-bellied snake?" He momentarily lowers his paws. "What?" I seize my opportunity. "Pew pew! Gotcha!" I shoot my finger guns at him. "Nuh-uh. I dodged." Kibbles jumps into a roll and shoots his paw guns at me. "No! You got me! I can't believe this is how it all ends." I grab my chest and stagger onto the floor, doing a very good performance, if I do say so myself.
"That's what you get when you mess with the sass slinger."
I dart my head up. "The what?"
"Oh, nothing."
"What did you just call yourself?"
"I didn't say anything."
"The sass slinger?"
"No, I don't know what you're talking about. You're boring me, human. I'm going now."
"No, I mean, that's really cool. I want a name too." Kibbles looks surprised. I get off the floor and dust myself down. "How about the sass slinger and his sidekick? The, banter bomb."
"The banter bomb?"
"Yeah."
"That's really embarrassing."
"Okay, well, I'll think about it and get back to you, Kibbles. This has been so fun."
"See you later, Bance."
He blows the imaginary gun smoke from each of his little paws, swaggers off into his bush. I feel childishly happy. That better have been a successful date. Oh, 69. This seems like much more than 69.4. This speaker is full, okay? I remember chemistry class. That's about as much as you're supposed to fill it. Fill it. Alright. I've had a busy morning today, so I'm rewarding myself with a longer lunch break. I use the extra time to return to what has become my favorite reading spot in the forest to finish Sakura. Kibbles was right. It's fantastic. I'm enjoying it much more than I expected it to. I'm not usually a fan of manga that is excessively bloody. My tastes tend to be more benign. This was an exception. The gore was so relevant to the individual characters and the overarching story that it felt entirely justified. I read the final page, close the issue, and exhale loudly. What an ending. I can hardly believe that the main character died. It's too sad, and yet completely authentic. I can't see how anybody could have escaped a situation like that. My thoughts are interrupted by the sound of rustling nearby. I open my eyes. Hey, Kibbles. Kibbles tumbles out of the bushes again. He's holding an adorable little satchel which is shaped like a penguin.
Hello, Ruby. Have you read Sakura then?
Yes, I just finished it now. It was so disturbing, but in the best possible way.
Yeah, the body horror bits are epic.
You want it back? I hand Kibbles the comic book. He examines it closely, clearly looking for any signs of damage or wear. After a while, he seems satisfied. He opens the satchel and carefully places it inside. At the same time, he takes out 3 more comics and presents them to me.
You should try these now. They're on another level. If you want to be taken seriously, you've got to read them.
I struggle to understand who I should be trying to get to take me seriously. I give up. Okay, great. What did you have for me?
First, this is Hokorashi. It's about a kid who finds a puppet that lets him control his parents. Then this one is called Hungry Sparrow. The artwork is sick. There's this character called the Icebreaker. He's a huge polar bear. And this last one is Kuchio Sobomi. It's probably my favorite.
Oh wow, Kuchio Sobome.
You've heard of it?
I've read it.
It's awesome, isn't it?
Well, I actually couldn't stomach it, but I don't know how well Kibbles will take that. No, we're gonna keep it 100, because that's what we do. To be honest, it was a bit much for me. Kibbles suddenly looks very serious. He reminds me of my lecturers in uni when I answered a fuck! I think it was a bit relentless, the gore.
It's not relentless, it's integral.
Really? I felt the scene where Kata eats that slug was just gratuitous. Totally the wrong place for something so gut-churning.
What? Kato never eats a slug. You must be thinking of something else.
No, it's right after Miharu brings her the fruit basket. She opens up a banana and the slug is inside.
I remember the fruit basket, but no slug.
He pulls the comic out from its protective sleeve and starts looking through the pages. Here's the fruit basket, and then it goes straight into the train scene. What?
Here's the fruit basket, and then it goes straight onto the train scene. No slug, see?
Oh, I see what the problem is. This is the shorter version. The slug scene must be in the extended edition.
Extended version?
Yes, I've got it back at camp. I can lend it to you if you like. Swapsies. Kibbles looks upset for a moment, but quickly composes himself.
Oh well, I've heard the extended version is way too long. That's probably why you didn't enjoy it. The pacing is much better on the standard edition.
You're probably right. You have better knowledge than me on this stuff. He looks super happy and prances around me for a few seconds, catching imaginary insects. Okay, Kibbles, can I still borrow Hungry Sparrow and Hokorashi? He pulls himself together.
Oh, so you haven't read those?
Not yet. I've heard Hungry Sparrow is excellent.
I'll say nothing until you've read them. We can compare notes then.
Kibbles hands me the comics and packs Kuchio Sobome away. Thanks, Kibbles. I'll bring them back as soon as I'm finished reading them.
See that you do.
Kibbles disappears backwards into the bush again, never breaking eye contact. Maybe he lives in that bush. Perhaps it's like the TARDIS. Doctor Who. A show that I never understood or got. Damn, do people love that shit. Alright, let's go on another date and maybe we'll get a recon. Come on, Kibby! Let's go! It's been a few days since Kibbles lent me his comics. Although I devoured them on the first night, I've been so busy with work that I haven't had time to return them yet. I'm dying to talk to him about them, so today I've cleared the decks enough to spend a couple of hours with him. I'm waiting in our usual spot when the nearby bush begins to rustle. Hi, Kibbles, you there? No answer. I brought your comics back. Still nothing. I know he's there. He must be playing a game, so I decided to play along. Oh, what a shame Kibbles isn't here. I so wanted to ask him about Hungry Sparrow. He's so clever. He would know why Nyoko broke the mirror at the end. Kibbles falls out of the bushes.
Obviously, she's just clumsy.
Really? I figured it was a metaphor for her fractured self-image.
A metaphor?
Yes, because her heart was broken when Ryoji fell in battle.
Oh, of course. That goes without saying. But I just feel like that interpretation is kind of tired.
Really? What would your interpretation be then?
I think it might be too complex for you.
God, what a D-bag.
Let's talk about something else.
Alright, what did you want to talk about?
I'm starving. There's no proper food around here.
I eyed the plump British long hair skeptically. Well, I've got a tin of tuna back at base camp if you want it. I could easily...
No, that's not proper food. Gross. I'm talking about proper food. Chocolate, crisps, pizza. Have you got any of those?
Something tells me I should have had a British accent for this one. No, Kibbles, I don't.
But you know how to get them.
What are you implying, Kibbles? I can't just walk into the mess tent and steal armfuls of food in the middle of the day?
Exactly. Meet me outside the mess tent tonight at sundown. Bring a backpack and a torch.
Oh, Kibbles. I don't like the sound of this.
If you don't help me, I'll just have to do it myself.
I shudder at the thought of Kibbles being let loose in the mess tent without supervision. Well, okay, Kibbles. I'll meet you, but only if you promise to be super stealthy.
My stealth abilities are second to none. I'm a black belt in Kakate.
I really hope so, Kims, because we're going to have to be super ninjas tonight.
Dank.
Oh my god, Kibbles is the worst. Why did I do McMurphy first? He was the best one. I've come to the mess tent a little before sundown, hoping to apprehend Kibbles in case he tries to stealthily barge in without me. I finally spot him stalking in the distance until using his tail to brush away any paw prints he's leaving behind. He's taking this so seriously. My heart sinks at how disappointed he'll be when I explain that we can't actually rob the mess tent of all the treats. Hey, Kibs.
Senpai.
Senpai? I have to restrain myself from doing an air grab.
I just want to say it's an honor to raid alongside you tonight.
Yes, well, about that, Kibbles.
I promise I won't let you down.
Oh no, why is he being so nice? Well, actually, I don't think it's such a good idea after all.
What? What are you talking about?
Well, I was thinking that maybe it would be a step too far to raid the mess tent for spoils.
Are you joking? You've changed your mind? Do you think I'm not up to the task? Is that it?
He looks so hurt. I feel real crummy. It's not you, Kibbles. I would gladly heat up a pizza and make a salad to go with it, but I don't think it's a good idea to take any more than that. Kibbles looks at me with disbelief.
Did you just say the word salad?
I did. Sorry. This is a really bad idea, Kibbles. Not only could it get me fired, but you could get sick if you ate lots of sugar and flour, and I don't want to be responsible for that.
It seems I was wrong about you. I thought you were heroic. I thought you were cool.
This really strikes a nerve. I'm not sure what to do. I don't know whether to listen to my head or my heart. Heart. Kibbles called me senpai. I cannot. Let's even tap the heart for good measure. I can't let that be for nothing. Kibbles, I am heroic and I am cool. Very cool. Let's raid. Kibbles does a little happy dance and fires invisible paw guns into the air.
You're sure everyone's gone to bed?
Yes, except Zane. He's doing his rounds. He's on the other side of the island right now, which gives us about 15 minutes.
This is so cool. It's like a proper real-life loot run.
But you have to keep your voice down, Kibs. The marigolds are doing their cleaning rounds in that tent just over there.
So stop talking, because now we only have 14 minutes and 32 seconds.
We've crept into the kitchen area, which is easy as the whole thing is open plan. I make a start by grabbing a pizza from the freezer and putting it into the microwave to cook. Next, I get the store cabinet keys from the usual place on the hook next to the sink.
The security's not exactly high-tech.
It doesn't need to be. We're on an island. We all get fed. Who would want to steal food?
Duh.
My backpack is overspilling with loot and I'm struggling to zip it up. Point taken, but this is different. This isn't real food. This is the monthly treat ration.
Monthly? Then what do you eat all day?
Well, fish and vegetables mostly.
Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that, Ruby.
What?
Never mind. Hurry up, we have 6 minutes and 47 seconds left.
As if on cue, the microwave pings. I grab the hot boxes and we're off.
So this is your place, huh?
We're sitting on my bed, finishing the last of the pizza. Yep, this is my crib.
Never say that word again.
I cover my embarrassment by tipping the contents of my rucksack onto the bed between Kibbles and me. His eyes widen at the sight of our plunder.
Oh man, that's even more than I thought.
He stuffs his mouth with marshmallows and jelly beans. There are little tears in his eyes.
It's been so long. This is the best night of my life.
Kibbles and I gorge ourselves on junk food until we can barely move.
Thank you for today, Ruby. I really needed this.
I don't feel so good.
Uh-oh. Did you eat too much?
I clamber out of my tent, hoping the fresh air will stop me feeling sick. By the time I return to the tent, Kibbles is gone, and so has the loot. Rookie mistake. Alright. We gotta rest up. Especially after our rager with Kibs. Alright. We're buzzing with magic energy now. Let's romance it up. Especially because I don't think we've unlocked anything new otherwise. I haven't seen Kibbles since our pizza party the other night. I want to make sure he didn't overdo it once he left my tent. I approach the clearing near the bushes he likes to hide in. Kibbles, are you there? No answer. Kibbles? The bush sneezes. I know you're in there, Kibbles. You just sneezed. Still no answer. Kibbles, if you don't come out here, I'm coming in to get you. Kibbles lazily rolls out of the bushes.
Oh, hi, Ruby. I didn't hear you coming.
Kibbles, are you avoiding me? Shit! I picked the wrong thing!
Well, I figured the night was over, and with you about to lose your guts outside.
And you would be pleased to know that I was not, in fact, sick. I did feel terrible all night, though. What were we thinking?
What were you thinking, you mean? I happen to know my limits.
Except that you were sick on the way home, weren't you?
How did you know about that?
I didn't until just now.
It was worth it. We should do that again.
Not with me, you won't. So what's been keeping you away?
I've been working on my project.
Project? What's that?
Just my latest comic.
Comic? You made one?
Yeah, I've been working on it for ages. You're the first person I've told about it.
Well, I'm honored. Tell me more. What's it about? Can I see it?
It's about a lot of stuff. You can have it, actually.
Really? Kibbles hands me a stack of papers covered with crude markings, held together with tape and staples. Oh, it's nice.
It's just a first draft. That'll be worth loads to the right collector.
Yeah, the artwork is quite avant-garde.
I was worried that being a cat would limit my artistic ability, but obviously I'm a savant.
Oh yeah, for sure. And well, it has quite a unique smell, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's hard to get pens and paints out here. I had to be pretty creative.
Something tells me I'd rather not know too much about his creative techniques. Thank you for this, Kibbles. I'll read it as soon as I get back to base.
Yeah, well, it's pretty complex. You might not get everything on your first read-through.
I look at the scratching paw prints and splatters that make up the pages of this rare first edition. No doubt. Maybe once I've read it, we can go through it together?
Yeah, okay. You'll probably need my help.
Right. I'll go make a start then. Thanks again, Kibbles. That's really sweet. Oh, Kibbles, you mansplaining piece of shit. Alright. Let's try recon. Recon 14. Alright, I'm gonna try to read. Oh, it's in Japanese, too. I'm laying in my tent looking at the comic Kibbles made. It's a really heartwarming thing. He's put a lot of work into it. And as I'm looking, I notice something behind some of the colors. It looks like Kibbles might have painted over something he found. I can just about make out a signature in the lower right corner. The more I squint, the more I believe it's Professor Pauper's. I wonder what this used to be. I suppose it'd be possible to clean off the paint and see what's underneath, but I can't bring myself to do that. Maybe there's something at the lab I can use to see more without destroying the artwork. I arrive at the lab just after dark, when I'm guaranteed to have the place to myself. There's a portable x-ray machine in the back. We use it to examine the bones of the cats after changing their diet. It has a light box attached to it so that we can see the x-rays properly. It's this piece of equipment that I'm hoping will reveal the secrets under Kibbles' work of art. I lay out the comic on top of the light box. I can see the image quite clearly under the paint. It's a letter. Ooh. Dear Jonathan, firstly, I would like to wish yourself and Martha a very happy New Year. I understand your concerns. The recent closure of our account at your cat farm may indeed negatively impact your business. I can assure you this decision was not taken lightly. I would like to take the time to personally thank you and your family for your help in providing us with cats over the years. From your last letter, it's clear that you don't fully understand our reasoning. The traditional methods of farming cats have, as you pointed out, been perfectly acceptable for many years. However, recent advances in technology that our team have employed mean that we are able to produce cats on a far greater scale and much more quickly than using the traditional methods. Our offshore facility can produce 100 cats in the time it would take you to rear 10. I would, however, like to repeat our offer of a job in the offshore nursery. Your family has been an asset to this company for many years, and we would like to show you our loyalty and appreciation. Please do consider this offer seriously. Warm wishes and season's greetings from Professor Pauper and team. An offshore cat breeding facility. We have an island overrun with cats right here. Why would we need? Before I can even form the question in my mind, I know what the answer is. This island is the offshore facility. Yeah, no shit, Sherlock. Professor Pauper was obviously keeping it well under wraps. I look back at Kibbles' sweet picture and wonder how on earth he had this letter in his possession. Slowly, another thought begins to force its way into my consciousness. What if Jonathan and Martha accepted the offer that was made to them and came to work on the island? What if they brought their young son with them? Could this be Kibbles' parents? I decide to respect Kibbles' privacy and keep this information to myself. He may not remember any of this, and I don't want to distress him. Wow, that's quite a leap, though. So, obviously Jonathan and Martha came to the island. That's how the letter got back to the island. But for Kibbles, how do you even know they had a son? Very confusing. That whole revelation that didn't exist before. Let's do another date with Kibby. Oh, it's the final date. Alright. This will tell us, are we cat or dead? Alright. I'm sitting outside my tent trying my best to make sense of Kibbles' comic. I'm desperately hoping for something, anything that I understand enough to talk to him about. It's no use. Just as I'm giving up, I see Kibbles approaching from the forest. Kibbles, what are you doing here?
I figured you'd have finished my comic by now, and you'd be ready to go through it with me.
Oh yeah, sure, it was complicated like you said.
I knew you wouldn't get it.
Okay, I'll be honest. I don't really understand very much at all.
Let's start at the beginning then, shall we?
Kibbles sits down next to me and flips the comic open on the first page.
It's semi-autobiographical. My memoirs, if you will. From what I can remember anyway. This page is about my parents.
Kibbles points to a pair of red paw prints.
This is my earliest memory. My mom and dad sitting together while I played in the garden.
He turns the page. This one just had one red paw on it.
Money was tight, so Mum worked a lot of overtime. It was just me and Dad most of the time. This next bit is about when I started high school.
The page is chaotic. Bright smudges and scratches cover every inch.
I didn't really fit in at high school.
Kibbles gestures to a page with a big scratch from top to bottom.
This is the day where Troy started pushing me around. Look at this bit.
A thick black substance covers the page. I'm worried about what it might signify.
This is my happiest memory. Sitting alone by myself in my room reading comics.
Kibbles flips to a more colorful page.
This is when Dad started taking me to the comic store after school. It was like a whole new world for me. I'd lost interest in the commercial stuff. It started to feel lamestream to me. I discovered manga. It was much more on my level, way more intellectual.
Kibbles turns page after page explaining the significance of the manga he'd read and how they shaped him and helped him escape from his problems. Kibbles, I think this is great. The way you're opening up to me, it's a real privilege.
Suppose.
I've thought about it lots and wondered if I should ask.
Ask what?
Were you originally human? I mean, were you catified? He lowered the comic and is looking at me with an expression of incredulity.
I can't believe you just asked me that.
I'm sorry, you don't have to answer.
Are you actually joking? This whole comic is about my transition and stuff. What were you reading? If I wasn't originally human, how would I have a manga collection that would make any otaku proud? How would you be able to read even?
Yes, of course I knew. I just mean, I was asking more about how it happened. How, when, where, that stuff. He's fixed his eyes back on the page.
Can't tell you.
Too soon?
Well, obviously not. We're looking at my entire existence here.
I feel a little foolish.
I just can't remember. Only bits. But it keeps getting less. Like it's fading in the sun.
I feel his frustration and direct us back to the safety of reading. It's okay. It's great. It documents everything. Finally, he turns to the last spread, the one I'd been avoiding as the pages were stuck together. He pries them apart carefully so as not to tear anything. It is a type of collage. He's used bits of chewed-up plants to stick down various objects. Amongst the colorful markings, there's a panel from my comic of Kanashi Boy, some sweet wrappers, and in the center, the unremarkable pebble, the one that Kibbles claimed he was looking for the first night we met in the clearing. It has a blue and a green paw print on it. Kibbles, this is beautiful.
This page is about you.
Me? Yeah.
Well, us.
Us? What about us?
You and me. Our story.
You wrote a story about us?
No, the story that we are. That is, I want.
Take your time, Kibbles. Count to 10. Use your words.
I'm not a kid. Don't patronize me.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to upset you. I was trying to help.
It's just confusing. I don't know what to say because I don't know what I feel.
About what?
About this.
Kibbles angrily jabs the comic with his claw until it hooks into the paper and he can't unstick himself. Do you need help or... I really don't want to be patronizing. Kibbles finally tears his paw free and looks me directly in the eye and blurts out one word.
Love.
I'm not even sure I fully hear him correctly, but I'm frightened to ask him to repeat himself, so I take a punt. Love?
Maybe.
Kibbles, I may be a very clever scientist, but I can't read minds. You're going to have to tell me what it is you're trying to say.
Maybe I might have love feelings. Possibly. For you, I think.
Oh. Yeah, I love you too, baby. Yes, because maybe I might have love feelings possibly for you, I think too.
You might?
I do.
Yes, so do I. Definitely, I think.
Kibbles looks like he doesn't quite know what to do next, so I bend down and we share an affectionate nuzzle. He purrs loudly and then bites my arm and runs away. Oi! Where do you think you're going? And I chase him through the forest. Oh, We got relationship goals with Kibbles. That means we won't turn into a dead body in the bottom of the ocean. This issue of Kanashi Boy is super tattered. What has Kibbles been doing with it? Using it as his scratch post? I grab the many hot irons, some sticky tape, and get to work neatening it. I iron each page flat, unfolding the bent over corners, lining up the tears and patching them. I work slowly and meticulously. It's surprising therapeutic. After about an hour, I sit back and admire my work. I'm quite proud of the end result. Not quite good as new, but definitely carefully pre-loved. I reread the issue delicately, appreciating every flaw. I think I shall rename this one Kintsugi Boy. Alright, now let's do researches. Research 10, Mr. Bumble. The professor lifts the flap of my tent and pokes his head inside. Ruby. Man. That Kibbles voice did a number on me. Let's see if I can remember. Ruby, may I have a word? Of course, sir. He lets the flap fall shut. I'm not sure what time it is, but it's still dark in my little shelter. I quickly pull my lab coat over my pajamas and make my way outside to find the professor staring out to sea. Is something wrong, Professor? No, well, yes, I suppose something is wrong. Your Mr. Bumble is getting worse, Ruby. He's taken a turn in the night. Oh my goodness, but he was doing so well. I was going to recommend we release him this week. With older cats, this can be expected. A sudden relapse is common, and they become overwhelmed so quickly. I can't believe it. Something I did or didn't do? Did I miss something? No, Ruby, I trust you have done your absolute best for him, my dear, but I'm afraid he is in a lot of discomfort now. His words cut like a knife. The thought of any animal being in pain is heartbreaking, but I've grown very attached to Mr. Bumble in the time I've been caring for him. We do a lot of good on this island, Ruby, and it can truly be a joy to live with these beautiful animals and ensure that they are well and happy. But we also have to do a lot of things that we don't want to do. Unpleasant things, you understand? Though we always have the best interests of the cats in mind. I feel I know what's coming, but I hope I'm wrong. Mr. Bumble may live for a while yet, Ruby, but his every waking moment will be full of pain and suffering. It's times like these we must think about what is best for our subjects. The professor takes a deep breath. Mr. Bumble will have to be euthanized, my dear. There's no two ways about that. But I thought it might be nicer for him if you were the one to do it. You could say your goodbyes, stroke him, make him comfortable as he can be, and then take away his pain with one quick injection of ketamine. I'm frozen. I don't want to answer. You don't have to agree, but I wanted to give you the choice. He will be euthanized tonight either way. Would you like to be there? Alright. So we can be the one to do it. We can hold his paw but not do the injection. Or we can just not be there. I feel like killing him ourselves is too much. It's too hard. So let's hold his paw, but like okay. So we're gonna go with the professor. He doesn't look as sick as he is. This will be quick and painless. Would you like to hold him as he goes? I nod. I can't muster any words. The professor hands Mr. Bumble to me, and as I cradle him, I feel him begin to purr. As the professor begins preparing the lethal injection, I take this moment to comfort Mr. Bumble and whisper, "It's okay, my friend. Nothing bad will happen to you." Liar! I'm surprised to hear the familiar voice of Trixie coming from the shadows in the corner of the lab. I can't believe this! I trusted you! I cough away the sob in my throat. I can't answer Trixie without raising suspicion. I defended you when people called you traitor! I believed in you! But you're just like him, aren't you? There's nothing wrong with that cat. Mr. Bumble is as healthy as I am. You've been unwell for a while, haven't you, Mr. Bumble? And it's getting worse every day. It's time to do the kindest thing possible for you, even though it breaks my heart. I hope Trixie understands that I'm talking to her. She scoffs. He's fooled you too! I thought you were smarter than that! Can you not see what's going on here? The professor turns to me glumly. The injection is in his hand. Have you said your goodbyes, my dear? I instinctively start backing away from the professor, holding the cat to my chest protectively. Perhaps it's time to put Mr. Bumble in his crate, and I'll take things from here. I can't watch this! I see Trixie's shadow slink out of the tent. Alright. So either Bumble's really sick, and he gotta die, or he's not sick. Alright, let's go with Trixie. No. I know it's difficult, but the sooner the better. It's best not to draw these things out. But he seems so well, Professor, and he's purring. I know, my dear. That's because he likes you. And just because he is unwell, that does not mean he is unhappy. You've seen to that. Professor, can we not just postpone this? Just a few more days, please. I think I could make him better. Ruby, let's be grown-ups now. Pauper scoops Bumble away from me with one arm. Before I can protest, I see the syringe disappear into Mr. Bumble's long fur. There now. All done. Wasn't that easy? Damn, that is cold! Alright, so now we'll go to find Trixie. Couldn't find her. Left a note at the door. New research. Oh, man. I can't believe he was just like, damn, no, girl, Bumbles is going down. Doesn't matter that he looks all happy and purring. 79% antidote. One more research. Let's go. That's it. That's all we can do. We found love with Kibbles. It's our day off. A lunch meeting. Alright. That's cool. Cool. Lunch meeting with who though, girl? Who? I'm quite excited about today. I was very surprised when Professor Pauper told me a few days ago that he was giving me Thursday off. Although I'm supposed to have Sundays as a rest day, there's never really time off as someone who always needs something done. But the professor was quite categorical about it. I don't want you to see you anywhere near this research facility. Mrs. Marigold will prepare you enough food for the day. Go visit some of the places we've been to during our field work or something. There's never enough time to fully explore. A tired researcher is a sloppy researcher. Recharge your batteries. I must admit I had a pang of suspicion, but was eager to have the whole day to myself, so I didn't argue. So here I am, heading out to the far eastern side of the island to have a closer look at the blue-colored moss that grows on the moist cliffs overhanging the sea. It is the part of the island least populated by cats. I wonder why. I've decided to take my breakfast with me and sit down on some small rocks just outside of our residential area to enjoy the quiet. Oh. That smells good. I don't remember what voice I did for B. Goodness, B, you startled me. I thought I was alone. You're very much alone, I would say. I feel vaguely irritated. Why does she always talk in riddles? I'm not in the mood for this today. If you want to share some of my food, you're welcome to. But let's not talk, eh? Thank you. I'm taken aback. No enigmatic answer or smarty pants remark. B simply accepts the piece of bacon I've torn up and put on the rock beside me. I haven't had this stuff for such a long time. Bacon? Oh yes. I'd forgotten its name. Did the previous researcher share their breakfast with you? No. It was mine, I think. I'm finding it harder and harder to remember, to order my thoughts. The small brown cat is becoming upset, and I reach out to stroke her instinctively, but she shrinks back from my hand. I wouldn't hurt you, Bee. I was just trying to comfort you. But you will hurt me. You won't mean to, but you will. I don't understand. It's like a dream. If I try to grasp it, it vanishes. I'm losing my memories, and I want so much to pass them on before they're lost forever. It's okay. I've managed to coax her close enough to run my finger along her cheek, and she responds, moving in closer. It doesn't have to make sense, you know. You could just talk, let it all pour out, and see what we discover. Where are you going? Why aren't you at work? You should be finding it. She has sat up abruptly and pulled back. I'm thrown. Finding what? I can't. looking at work. Oh, there's no work today. The professor gave me the day off, so I'm headed to the Blue Moss Cliffs. Don't. What? Don't go there. The Blue Moss, it's something. It's what happens when we dispose of stuff from the secret lab. Are you okay, B? He's tricking you. My name's not B. It's not. It's... I know, that's just what the last assistant called you. You can be called anything you like. I'm trying my best to calm her. She's very distressed and I'm afraid for her well-being. Let me help you. I have some cat soothe in my bag. I quickly open the small bottle and tip a little of the clear fluid into the palm of my hand. Surprisingly, B immediately starts lapping at the little pool. Within a short time, she's calm and allowing me to stroke her. Toxic. Pardon? Toxic. That's the word I was looking for. The Blue Moss area? Yes. She's purring now, as though being able to remember has comforted her. You also said we. We? We dispose of stuff from the secret lab. You got there in the end, didn't you? I have a sickening excitement in my stomach. We? You were me! You had my job before me. Yeah, no duh, Ruby. A long time ago. Her speech is slurry and her eyes are drooping. Like a dream. I need to wake up from this dream. Get back to him. To me. B, talk to me. Who is he? I need to know. No answer, as the little cat is snoozing. I mean, duh. We knew B was a research assistant the first time we met her, okay? I've come to the forest to gather my thoughts. This morning I noticed another change in my appearance. Up until now, it's been easy to cover up my transition. I just had to keep on top of removing the excess body hair. Even the stub of a tail isn't a problem, who'd see it? But this new development is definitely a turning point. How am I going to explain the fact that my pupils have turned into vertical slits? I can't risk anyone seeing me like this, so I'm going to hide out for a while and see what happens. I'm going to tell you what happens. We meet Kibble, we pledge our undying love to each other, and then I become a cat. Oh, look, I'm a little Ruby cat! So cute! Are you ever going to tell me how you managed to get hold of these books?
Yeah, I could.
Really? Finally?
But then I'd have to kill you. Yeah.
We're interrupted by the familiar sound of the ferry arriving at the pier. It seems my replacement has already arrived.
That must be the new research assistant. Want to go and annoy them?
Kibbles never gets tired of being Kibbles. No, you go if you like. I'm going to have a nap in a minute.
Yeah, me too. It's hard work, all this reading.
There was a time I would have thought he was being ridiculous, but these days I have to agree. It's the pages. Turning pages is surprisingly taxing with pause. I feel so lucky that that's the only thing I have to complain about. My life is really charmed. I know now that I made the right decision. It used to worry me. I felt guilty about giving up my work on the antidote. I resisted the urge to join Kibbles. Wait. Maybe. No, because we had unsuccessful dates. And it didn't get us any closer to the antidote any faster. And we just, go to sleep or take a little cat nap. Turning pages is hard with pause. Alright. That was chapter 5. I'm gonna stop the stream.